Okay, we're back. We removed the latest repair. We got it in almost one full piece, and that's testament to the lack of preparation to the raw side. Like I said, that guy that owned the cart said he washed it down with acetone, and you see here there's some black. We peeled off some black stuff here. That's actually the first or second repair. You can see it looks like somebody pigmented resin and put black pigment in the resin and then did the repair. As you can see, it's not completely wetted out. Those are unsaturated strands right there. So even that first repair was not very well done. Certainly not done by a reputable fiberglass guy. Anyway, I'm not knocking anybody. I mean, a lot of guys are hobbyists and stuff, and actually learned something from this particular repair here. This is Bi-Axial material. It's pretty heavy stuff. That's probably why he couldn't or didn't bother to get it right down tight into the corner. But I've used this in different applications. The boat hulls are made from 2 layers of this infused with a vacuum, but the same stuff. So it's good, tough stuff. What I have learned is what happens here. Stick the light in there and then bring you on in there. You see, there's a bit of it still stuck there. It's loose. I think just this little bit right here on the wall that looks flat. I'm not going to bother trying to wedge the scraper in there and bust it loose. I'll just grind it. Speaking of grinding, and I was talking about what this guy that did this last repair has taught me. When I talked to him last night, he said I'd shared with him before about doing repairs and taking raw glass when you got to reach way in somewhere like that. Instead of trying to wet it, put a little wetness down and then take dry material and put it in there, and then dip the brush and bring it over top your material to drip, little drips. There'll be a trail of evidence of you being there. So I told him a lot of times when you do stuff like that, or hard to get to places, even hard to get in there with a brush. I mean, you can get it with a brush, but you can't see what you're doing. Best thing to do is take a piece of cardboard or something and wet the glass out first, then pick up the completely saturated piece of glass and take it in there with gloves on, and put it in there, by hand, and then, that way half the job's already done. You're not going to have a bunch of drips and goobs of resin and stuff all over you, getting it all over your arms trying to get in there. He told me he laid this up on a piece of visqueen, piece of plastic. Wet it out on a piece of plastic. He cut up I told him you got to cut the size of your patch apart first. So that's what he did. And then he wetted it out on a piece of visqueen or plastic, and he used, instead of like me, I learned something from him, right? He took the visqueen, which you can see through, and pressed it down in there, and then left the plastic on and peeled it off when the piece of glass actually hardened up. So interesting technique, and not altogether wrong. To tell you the truth, there's you can tell this must have been a side that had the visqueen on it. Obviously, it's the top, and there isn't big, wet, smooth, shiny areas of resin. So not at all bad. This repair. If you'd have done better prep, if you'd have taken a 90 or some sandpaper and really scuffed that raw glass down, I wouldn't have been able to get it off like I did. I was fortunate. So we'll get in there and clean the rest of that up. We'll show you the outside, what it looks like now. And get right on in here. He actually had a little bit of Duraglass here that I don't know if he'd done that first or what, but let's bust it. We're not going to use any of that. That's got to come out. This is a piece from the first or second repair. Looks like somebody put it in, and that might even be original nose right there. Just looks like it was tucked in and they just went ahead and laid it over, where I try to either grind that out or actually do this, lift or push and push the fibers back together. And if you see how they won't go flat there, then you go ahead and hog it out until it does. But we will cut all that out. We'll cut all this out. We'll start just inside of here, leave the thickness of the material. So we'll come back, say just a 1/16 of an inch if we have to. We'll sand it down or file it down, and then we'll come all the way out to here. That plate, that stiffener is pretty much right here. So we'll probably cut it like this here. Cut all that out. We won't need to go anywhere near that far on this side. Back a bit into some good stuff. Back a bit from the outside. We don't want to cut into that wall. And it's always, you can always take more off, putting it back on's a pain. So we'll cut it out here, probably up to here, staying away from the end of that thing, in front of it as much as we can to be able to lay the patch, the glass, over top of the patch that we're putting in. But before we do all of that, after we get it all cut out, that'll make it easier to get in there and sand and scuff that raw glass. And then we'll lay up on the inside with it hanging down outside the whole hole that is going to be exposed here. And we might even get up into our stuff up here. I've got a tote up there that's got a bunch of old stuff. It's got Bi-Axial material in it, small scrap pieces. It's got sandwich core material and stuff. It's not stuff I don't usually use. A lot of this stuff, since we moved over here, I haven't even unpacked the boxes, I haven't even bothered to take it out of boxes because, I don't know how long we're going to be here. But, we're just rolling along at this point. But I'll bring you all that stuff as we go. That's the plan, though, to raise this surface to the height or plane of this here. We need to add glass, and we're not going to add it on the outside. We're going to add it on the inside, and then fit our patch to it so it's flat and level with the existing bottom. And then we'll glass it all in. We'll put tape, and we'll glass it all in from the inside. We'll peel the tape off, and then we'll tape off the black bit. Like I said, use a little PVA. Use the tape as a guide or mask for any type of sanding or filling we need to do. And as soon as you start scratching on the tape, you stop. And then if you get the tape tore up, you peel off, put fresh tape back on, and you keep doing that. And what it'll do is it'll leave the bodywork just a little bit higher than what you want. Then, at that point, you got to get pretty intricate with whatever kind of tool you got to make some things to wrap sandpaper on, glue sandpaper too. A lot of the sandpaper I have is sticky back. So you'll use tongue depressor. Sometimes you'll even cut a piece of metal or phenolic or something that's a certain shape or a certain sharp edge or whatever, something that you can push on that won't move, and manipulate it and use it the way you want to. But hope you're enjoying yourselves. We got the holes cleaned up. We'll get this stuff cut out here and get it ready to go. And then the next time we'll bring you the pre-cut pieces we put in to lengthen this surface here and get everything back to square one. That's it, folks. Hope you're having a good time. The fun part's coming. Oh, and by the way, I'm glad you stayed right to the end. Mr. Sterling Ashby left a message about when the fiberglass and how he used to play with it a bit with his cart and the itchiness. And to be completely honest, I've never had a problem. It doesn't make me itch. I'm impervious to fiberglass. Yeah, I can just stand in a cloud and grind away, and it doesn't bother me a bit. Not one bit. I don't get red. I don't break out. But for people who do, cold shower. If you get it in your forearms and your hands, on your face, neck, don't listen to anybody. Don't ever take a hot shower because then you're screwed. Cold shower opens the pores, and try to go with the grain of your hair as best you can, and you'll get any little bits that are making you itch and stuff out. That's my best bit of information. That's it. Sterling, I hope you're enjoying the videos. We're going to get to making a mess here shortly. God bless y'all.